Ok và hello và chào mừng tất cả các bạn quay trở lại với channel của mình. Thì ok, bây chúng ta sẽ tiếp tục với lại cốt truyện của Dia. Trong khoảng thời gian hiện tại thì hơi bấm dối một sự cố, nhưng mà mình cần làm cái nhiệm vụ Dia để mà chắc có thể là mở được cái cốt truyện, mở được tiếp cái cốt truyện Babel. Theo mình nghĩ là vậy. Thì ok, thì chúng ta sẽ quay trở lại thành để gặp lên Yayat. Và cái vấn đề quan trọng mình muốn nói là sau hai cái video trước á thì mình biết cái cách khắc phục vấn đề vang rồi. Cái video nó bị hỏng nhưng mà vì nó là cái nội dung cốt truyện á, cho nên các bạn thông cảm video đó nha. Nó bị vang nên nó khó chịu, mình biết là cái sự khó chịu đó. Nếu mà các bạn chịu khó ủng hộ, nếu mà chịu khó ủng hộ mình á, thông cảm cho mình á, thì các bạn có thể tìm cách gọi là mute những cái đoạn hội thoại đó đi, mute cái âm thanh đi để xem nội dung thôi. Thì cái đó là cái lỗi của mình quay xong nhưng mà cái video đó nó chỉ làm một lần thôi, đúng không? Không phải là một lần, mình có thể làm lại, ví dụ như La Hoàng hay gì đó, ví dụ như mình có thể làm lại, nhưng mà bây giờ cái đó là cốt truyện, nó chỉ có một lần thôi chứ giờ sao mình biết được. Thì nói chung rất là ổn, nhưng mà mong các bạn ủng hộ mình và bỏ qua cho mình lần này. Thì mình đã biết cách khắc phục cái chuyện đó rồi. Thì ok, bây giờ chúng ta sẽ đến với video mới này và sẽ không có bị tình trạng đó nữa. Đây là cái lời hứa của mình đối với những cái sự kiện như thế này.
We're back, my lady.
Oh, you're back a lot sooner than I expected. You mustn't have run into any trouble then. Well, how did it go? What did you come up with?
Actually, we're still investigating. It's just that we've discovered something strange.
I see. The clues you found have led you back here, in the city?
Something like that, yeah.
You all look a little dispirited. Whatever you found must not have been very encouraging after all. Why don't you discuss it with me? Maybe I'll be able to say something to cheer you up?
It's okay, my lady. It's not so much about me being upset with my father or anything like that. How should I put this?
So something is wrong. Even the Traveler and Paimon have been uncharacteristically quiet. On any other day, Paimon would have already waved to me with a smile and shouted, "Dunyarzad, we're back!" So tell me, what happened?
Well?
My lady, please prepare yourself for what we're going to tell you next. It concerns the Master.
The Master? You mean my father? Okay, I understand. But don't worry about me. I'll listen as attentively as I can. My father has been supplying goods to Khan al-Akmar?
Yeah, it makes as little sense to us as it does to you. I've never doubted the Master's integrity, so I'm having a real hard time rationalizing how he could ever support an infamous brigade like them. Maybe he's not actually aware of the full story and just stumbled into the deal by accident.
I can't help but agree with the Traveler.
Huh? You mean you feel the same way, Dunyarzad?
Thank you for sharing all this information with me. Since you've told me everything you know, I should also tell you about some doubts that I've been harboring for quite a while. In the past, I thought that my father hired a bodyguard for me so that I wouldn't run away and get lost. However, there are plenty of capable mercenaries in the Corps of 30. Why did my father go out of his way to hire Dia?
About that. Well, the Homayanis really needed bodyguards, so they reached out to the Blazing Beasts. Later, the Master told me that I was one of the best mercenaries he'd ever seen, and that I should stick around to become one of his bodyguards. He offered me a pile of mora, so I just signed on.
Well, but that didn't really answer my question. Just think about it. Why did my father specifically reach out to the Blazing Beasts?
Maybe the Corps of 30 just didn't have anyone available, or maybe someone recommended us. I've never given it too much thought. I think I get what you're saying. You'd think none of this was a coincidence.
Precisely. At first glance, nothing seems strange or out of place. But there are many parts of the story that don't actually make any sense. If my father had always been in contact with the Khan al-Akmar, then it would make sense for him to bring Dia into our house.
You mean the goal all along was to get Dia to be your bodyguard?
No, that's too much of a stretch. I cut all ties with my father a long time ago. He has no control over my life anymore.
But that still doesn't rule out the possibility that your father has still been trying to influence your life without you knowing.
So, the Master was not likely an innocent victim in all of this?
Sorry we put all this on you so suddenly, Dunyarzad.
It's okay, Paimon. I should actually be thanking you. Regardless of his reasons, if my father has truly been funding a violent group of mercenaries, then it's my duty to bring him back to reason.
But is that really the right thing to do? My father has committed many atrocities and deserves all the punishment that he has coming to him. I have zero sympathy for him. You may call me an ungrateful child, but my feelings will remain the same. However, the Homayani family has treated me with nothing but generosity and kindness. If we decide to investigate this further, we could end up implicating the entire Homayani family. I would be biting the hand that's fed me over all these years.
Dia.
It's all right, Dia. If anyone were to ask, you could always just say that I'm the one who instructed you to get to the bottom of this.
You don't have to do that, my lady. I'm not conflicted because I'm afraid of taking responsibility. Besides, you're the one we should all be worried about right now.
Hey, it's still too early to give up hope. What was the thing about friendship again? Right, yeah, trust! You said that yourself, Dia. Besides, there's no point on getting all riled up before we've confirmed all the facts.
Thank you, everyone. That makes a lot of sense. I guess I should always remember the trust that I've placed in people. In which case, my lady, could you ask the Master to come out and have a chat with us?
Sure thing. I also hope he'll be able to give us a logical explanation. Let's meet at the usual place then.
Usual place? Ah, right.
Ok thì wow. Gần không vậy? Hay là cũng không gần lắm. Tất nhiên cái chuyện này cũng không có gì để bình luận hết. Đây là một cái chuyện xác nhận lại thôi. Nó hơi khó nói một chút. Như lúc đầu hay là đi ra hay gọi là dễ lộn Paimon. Hey, hello, đi ra. Chúng tôi quay trở lại rồi nè. Đâu các kiểu. Thôi đi theo đường này đi. Bà mẹ nó lỡ dính quét nữa. Trong thời gian giữa hai sự kiện này thì mình làm một lần luôn. Đợi bây giờ mới làm không. Làm chuyện rất rùi luôn. Đó chính là mình đang gọi là gì? Gọi là vừa làm cái sự kiện chính điện lễ với lại nhiệm vụ đi ra. Làm ra cũng hơi khổ rồi sợ dính quét. Tại mình làm đi để mình còn làm cái ba beo nữa. Với lại mình cũng giải quyết luôn cái điện lễ để chi để mà mình
Thank you for coming, sir. Please allow me to introduce these two. This is the traveler, and next to her is her travel companion, Paimon.
Yes, my daughter has mentioned them from time to time. It's a privilege to finally meet them in person. But we may skip all the pleasantries for now. What is the important matter you wish to discuss with me today?
Well, we wanted to bring this transaction record to your attention. There's something on this record that we're all pretty curious about.
So, that's what you found. Huh. Seems like I can't keep everything from you much longer.
If you wouldn't mind, we'd like an explanation.
Well, it's a long and difficult story. And to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure if I'm doing the right thing. What I do know, though, Dia, is that the truth will bring you no solace. If anything, it will likely cause you a great amount of anguish.
Wait, me?
Yes, I understand perfectly why you came to see me, and I am touched by your collective commitment to do the right thing. But knowledge always comes at a price, and sometimes, as they say, ignorance is bliss. Your father, Kusela, and I both believed that. Of course, you have the right to seek and learn the truth, but I must warn you. The facts of this matter may reduce everything you've built for yourself into sand, blowing in the wind. If you must proceed, then Kusela's heartfelt efforts will also fade into the wind like a fleeting mirage.
His heartfelt efforts? I'm sorry, sir, but I'm not sure I follow. I've made it this far in life without a single drop of my father's support. I have my own ideals and ways of looking at the world, as well as people and causes that I've chosen to cherish and fight for. None of these things have anything to do with him. I came here today to support you as the head of the Homayani family. No warning will change my stance on that.
I understand. Then let me tell you a little story. Our family once needed to take a trip to the desert when Dunyarzad was just a baby. Along the way, we were attacked by bandits. They had superior numbers and quickly overpowered our bodyguards. When all seemed lost, a group of passerby Eremites lent us their support. Those Eremites were Kusela's brigade, Con al-Ahmar. Kusela's men told me that the attackers were Eremite mercenaries, just like themselves. I was shocked. Why would Con al-Ahmar go so far to save us and not spare the fellow Eremites? Kusela was grinning and walked over to play with baby Dunyarzad. She was startled by his unfamiliar face and nearly started crying.
Really? I never knew.
He said that he had no particular reason to help us. He just took pity on us because he had a daughter about the same age. We started talking about our children, and I sensed that he was a devoted father. To repay his kindness, I hired his brigade to help out at our estate for a time, and offered everyone generous remuneration.
So, that's what happened.
It was many years before I saw him again. I almost didn't recognize him the next time he came knocking on my door. The man I knew to be strong and healthy had been reduced to a shell of himself. He couldn't even walk anymore without his cane.
So, what happened to him? He was perfectly fine when I left the brigade.
I'm not too sure myself. The only thing that didn't change was his cheery disposition. He said there was absolutely nothing to worry about and that he had gotten into a fight. That was all. He then suddenly asked me if Dunyarzad, now that she had grown, would need a bodyguard of her own. At the time, Dunyarzad was going through a particularly severe bout of her Elazar. There was no need for her to have a bodyguard when she could barely leave the house. But he kept coming back to the topic. Come on, it never hurts to be safe. How do you know a bodyguard won't come in handy one day? I was completely lost at first, until he recommended the Blazing Beasts, and in particular, a mercenary named Dia.
So he was the one who recommended Dia to you.
Indeed. He didn't say it out loud, but it was clear that he saw Deshret's relics as an evil group who would eventually corrupt every member in their ranks. He was already beyond redemption, but he hoped that he would be able to detach his daughter from the vicious world of mercenary life. If Dia could stay in my house and keep working as a bodyguard, then gradually her affinity for the desert would decrease, and she'd be able to leave her previous life behind.
And that's why you offered her such generous compensation?
Yes, but not just because of that. From the moment that he asked me for that favor, I also began to see Dia as my own daughter. And that's also why I tried to persuade you to stay when you asked for permission to leave. I was willing to spend however much it took. Kusela saved my daughter and I all those years ago in the desert. I could never refuse him entrusting his daughter to me.
He was always like that, acting like he's oh so smart and self-righteous.
Kusela said that he'd reimburse me for a portion of Dia's fees. I refused to take any mora from him, but he'd always send me funds anyway. Eventually, I just accepted them as a token of his gratitude. And that went on for a while until I received another letter from him a few years ago. The letter contained a request to help him buy food, weapons, medicine, and even explosive materials.
Wait! Isn't that around the time that the Khan al-Ahmar started becoming more aggressive?
That's right. When I started to hear some nasty rumors, I became wary. I wanted to meet him face to face to discuss things. But by then, he was no longer receptive to my requests to talk. If I had to guess, it's probably because he doesn't want to put Dia at risk. That thought occurred to me as well. I figured that he probably came to me for help because he had nobody else to turn to. After some deliberation, I decided to send him some food and medicine. I turned down all his requests for explosives and weaponry. I am aware that even such a reduced gesture of support could lead to others coming to harm, but I could not simply reject his plea for help. In the end, it probably was the wrong decision. I plugged my ears to the rumors and just chose a solution that made me feel least guilty about myself.
If you can, please tell me where he is now. None of the things he's doing right now make any sense if he's just trying to keep me from getting tangled up in his world. If all he wants to do is steer clear of me, then maybe he shouldn't have brought me into this world in the first place.
Oh no. Dia, please don't feel that way.
I'm just angry because I can't wrap my head around any of his actions. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think I can do it. But I guess you do have a point. We haven't uncovered the whole truth yet. We still need to figure out his exact actions and reasoning for these last few years.
I'll do my best to help. Of course, anything between the two of you would need to be resolved between you and him alone. I don't know Kusela's exact whereabouts. Outside of supplying his brigade with some goods, I tried my best to avoid getting involved any further with him. However, there's a man on the list named Jawed. He used to be a mercenary in the desert and is now a member of the Corps of 30. He's responsible for supplying weapons and liaising with the Khan al-Ahmar's merchant caravan. I think he should know Kusela's whereabouts. I've heard that he likes to have a few drinks alone and enjoy the cool wind at night outside the tavern. Maybe you'll be able to find him there.
Understood. Thank you, sir. Then I guess this is bye for now, unless...
I'll stay and be with my father here. To be honest, I'm still a little dazed and haven't finished processing everything quite yet. My father has indeed done something wrong, but if I think about it, I'm also not sure if there was a right way to handle this problem. I feel like our only course of action is to turn everything we know over to the Corps of 30 and let them render judgment.
Yes. I am prepared to accept whatever verdict they choose. It's time to face my mistakes.
Nếu mà nói cái vấn đề này á, thì bấm đồng hồ bấm đâu vậy? Ban đêm hả? Ồ, di chuyển băng này nhanh đó chứ. Ban đêm hả? Đấy, ban đêm nè. Không biết là đây là một cách làm khác hay là có một cái ẩn ý gì. Mình cũng chưa có bình luận được gì nhiều. Giờ phải cần gọi là cần phải theo dõi tiếp cái cốt truyện này mới biết được. Ê, bấm sao ta? Bấm cái này đúng không? Ngồi cái đã, ngồi đã nói chuyện.
Huh? Who are you guys?
I know what you've been up to. Smuggling weapons to violent brigades in the desert while working for the Corps. Pretty bold, if you ask me.
Shh! Keep your voice down. How do you know all that? Come with me. We should take this elsewhere. I'll be happy to talk things over once we're somewhere private. This place should do. Alright, back to my question. How did you all know about me?
Don't worry about that for now. You know what kind of punishment you'll face once we report you to the Corps, I assume.
Wait, there's no need to jump the gun. Let's talk this out. What are your terms?
So what's in it for you anyway, Mora?
Well, I was a little tight on money at the time, and Kusela took good care of me in the past. I weighed it in my mind, and I couldn't find a reason to turn the opportunity down. I wouldn't only be helping my benefactor, but I could also make some quick Mora.
Let me tell you how it is. We're investigating Khan al-Akmar, and we're gonna put an end to their operations. If you provide some help for us, then we might just put in a good word later to reduce the terms of your punishment.
Hey, why don't we discuss this a little first? Listen, I made quite a bit of Mora from my last run. You just give me a number, and I'm sure we can...
Shut it. My patience is running out. You should know when a mercenary is after something other than money.
All right, sheesh. But you gotta promise you'll put in some nice words for me later. They're always on the move. Here's the spot they were at the last time I made my delivery to the desert. Feel free to go have a look. I'm just telling you though, it's not on me if they're not there anymore.
Sure. And then you can forget about any nice words from us.
Hey, come on. Now you're just being unreasonable.
Really? And how do I know you're not leading us straight into a trap? Don't forget, you're the one with no bargaining chips.
All right, I get it. Why don't you go take a look, and if they're not there anymore, I'll try to figure out something else for y'all.
Now that's more like it. Let's move. And as for you, try to stick around the city until we get back. You don't want us to call the folks from the Corps and have them drag you back to the city.
Don't worry. I'm not going anywhere.
Không dám trốn chạy đâu hả? Mặt buồn hả? Ồ, đe cũng đáng sợ đấy chứ. 3 cây số để đến đây đúng không à? Đây, trên bờ vực nhé. Giữa ranh giới bờ vực chị ngát đi. Chúng ta đang từng bước gọi là tìm hiểu. Ê, ủa bấm chưa? Ủa giờ. Ôi chết tôi rồi, tôi không có bấm. À bấm lúc này được, sao? Không có dính lúc này, không dính người nào. Ê, khó à. À đây nè, không quen lắm. Điều khiển băng này không quen lắm.
Seems like we're in luck. That should be their camp right up ahead. Let's go. We'll finally get to the bottom of this ourselves. I'm here to see Kusela. Tell him to get out here.
Ê, chết tôi rồi. Tôi không có đánh lộn bằng cái này được đâu. Ê, từ từ đi, thiệt. Không đánh lộn bằng cái này được đâu. Ơi, ẩu ơi. Ui. Sao ta?
Everyone hold his.
Chậm quá.
There is no escape.
Là bên Bì à?
Let's get it on.
Không được rồi. Trời ơi, không được. Không có đánh lộn gì đâu. Cũng may là mạnh đó.
Haven't you all done enough?
Vậy hay. Cứu tôi. Ê.
So are you also here to stop us?
Ra cái con này không
Stay
phải
out of
mà.
this. It's got nothing to do with you.
Thôi nó đại á. Ê. Ủa mà xảy gì vậy? Đúng là Hải Đăng hèn gì mày quá.
You're dead meat!
Ê, tao quay ơi! Ủa, đồ đắt hả? Sao vậy?
Look alive!
Thôi thang tôi đi, không có đánh đâu.
She's so strong.
Enough fighting. We all know each other, and I don't want to take things too far. Just bring Kusela to me. There's no use hiding him anymore. Did you understand a single word I just said? Or do I need to bash your skull in some more?
All right, everyone, let's all just calm down for a second. Dia, the boss can't come out and see you anymore. He died a long time ago.
What?
Seems like you've been out of the loop for a while. Guess that's for the best, though. At least, that's what the old man wanted.
When did he die? What happened to him?
A few years ago, Kusela broke up Dakan al-Ahmar and went to the Deshret's Relics headquarters by himself.
So is that when you guys started acting up?
We would prefer to call it taking revenge. Every last person in Deshret's Relics must pay in blood for what they did.
Let me start from the beginning. Dia, do you know how the head of the Relics maintained order internally?
Overwhelming strength and unquestionable authority?
Those were a part of it, yes. But just those on their own weren't enough. They had another tool at their disposal. They called it a person's record. Regardless of whether they joined by their own will or were coerced, every person in Deshret's Relics were forced to leave a record of themselves at headquarters. Whether it be their deepest sin, some unforgivable act, or their most immoral exploit, the record served both as a symbol of loyalty and the perfect material for blackmail. That's precisely it. Every one of us have a record. Me, Bashar, Tikriti, and all the boys who grew up with Dia and ended up joining our ranks. But you, Dia, you were never asked to provide a record, were you?
I never even knew this was a requirement.
You were probably the only person in all of Deshret's Relics who didn't know about it.
Ever since you were born, Boss had been trying to shield you from this organization's sinister rules. Not only that, but he also banned all of us from committing any nefarious acts. He said he'd take care of the dues we had to pay regularly to headquarters. But in the end, he was just an ordinary person. What could he do? He was forced to go to headquarters again and again to account for missed dues and incomplete records. He'd come up with all kinds of excuses and get beaten up as a result.
We all knew he was doing that for you. He wanted to get you out of this world, no matter what it took.
And that's why he became a shell of himself and couldn't walk without a cane.
Wait, but that doesn't make any sense. I didn't know about any of this, and I'd never seen him get injured or beaten.
Because you were too young at the time. How would you ever tell between wounds from a beating and wounds from battle? When you left home after that final argument with him, he seemed to age by a decade overnight. Even his hair went gray.
So, even the blazing beasts were...
Yep. It was all his doing. Had he not arranged them to come to you, you probably would have been reduced to a pulp before you ever left the desert.
A few years ago, Boss said he needed to make another trip to headquarters. He was already pretty weak then, and we all assumed he was going to get beaten again. I suggested that he hand the role of leadership over to me, but he said there was no longer any need, since the Khan al-Ahmar would soon be no more. His words made no sense to me, but that night, we heard that a massive fire tore through headquarters and razed everyone's records to ash.
Everyone gained their freedom that night. Many members fled, not just from our ranks, but from the other brigades as well. But how could we leave with a clear conscience? All of us who knew exactly what had happened.
The boss can't have just died for nothing. Those heartless jerks at headquarters took him from us.
From that point on, the sole purpose of Dakan al-Ahmar became revenge. The big fire that boss started was quite a blow to headquarters' strength. It's given us the opportunity to launch our attack. Even though we're outnumbered, we vowed to see our revenge through to the very end. There were people from headquarters who changed their names and went into hiding. Some fled to other brigades, and others escaped to the rainforest. But we won't let any of them escape our wrath. They'll all pay for what they've done.
We've suffered plenty of losses as well. To keep going, we need an enormous amount of supplies, from food and medicine to weaponry and explosives. All we can do is exchange our loot from Mora, and then use that to get supplies. We forged Boss's handwriting and sent out many letters to his former friends. Thankfully, many people were willing to come to our aid. We were also able to attract many mercenaries who shared our goal. We've endured unspeakable pain to win many impossible battles. Deshret's relics have become weaker and weaker, and now we finally have an opportunity to directly strike their headquarters.
Paimon doesn't know what to say anymore.
We do know right from wrong, but we were sinners from the very beginning. We do not deserve the freedom that the boss won for us with his life. Boss always loved his old-fashioned hero stories. Those tales about sacrificing yourself to save the world. We used to always laugh at him for it. But in the end, he really went and lived those stories out himself. As for me, I never considered myself a hero. We're all the lowest of the low. We have no right to even imagine such an existence. But maybe those hero stories he liked foreshadowed everything that was to come. The spirit of the hero touched all those he had saved, and more people joined his cause. Maybe we were all just acting along with the play in the beginning. But as we acted the parts and recited the lines, we were drawn in. And now, we want to see the story through to the end. I'm sorry, Dia. I know you always found us insufferable ever since you were young. Just think of this as a madman ranting.
I'll go with you.
Huh? Dia? You want to go with them?
I grew up with these guys, and I know they're not bad people. It's just that some situations get so bad that it's difficult to tell good from evil. All I know is that Deshret's relics must be destroyed. Furthermore, I want to go see the place for myself. I want to know if my father is still there. I know you don't want to get involved in this, so there's no need for you to tag along. I can do this on my own.
Yeah, Paimon feels like we'd only regret it if we don't see this through to the end.
Thank you. We'll be a lot stronger together with you.
I bet Boss would lose his mind if he ever knew you'd join us at the very last moment like this.
Considering all the losses and injuries we sustained, we can't afford to turn down someone as powerful as you.
He can think whatever he wants. But the fact is, I owe him this much.
Lại một cái mô tiếp gọi là đen tối. Wow. Nói chung là không ngờ đấy. Mình cũng đang nghi rồi. Nếu mà gọi là một người xấu á, thực ở hiện tại nha, trong cái tựa game này chưa có cái dạng như là kiểu cha mẹ hay con cái đi, chưa bao giờ có cái dạng gọi là cha mẹ xấu mà con cái xấu hết. Kể cả chuyện của Jet, kể cả chuyện của Dia cũng vậy. Có một phần nào đó là tốt, mà đa số ai cũng bỏ mạng rồi. Nói chung là hơi có cảm xúc tí. Ồ, mấy đại ca bị ăn độc. Bị tôi độc.
I guess it all comes down to this.
What a bummer. I just had to get injured now, right before the final fight. Be sure to punch one of them for me, huh?
Thôi thì nếu mà nói là trận chiến cuối thì từ từ chị thôi để chỉnh qua cái này cho nó chắc. Chỉnh cái này cho chắc nó cha ơi, chứ mất công lắm. Chỉnh cái này cho nó chắc. Đó, vậy đi, nó đánh lộn nó lạo gì á, khỏi bí như nãy. Đâu có nghĩa là nãy đánh lộn đâu. Biết. Ồ, hình như chỗ này ở dưới đúng không? Từ để suy nghĩ từ làm sao đi qua đó cho nó nhanh trời. Má, khó gì? Hay đi từ đây qua. Wow. Kết thúc của chuyện tình luôn nào.
The weather is lovely and warm. Things are about to start getting lively again.
Nhưng mà tôi không thích buổi sáng lắm, tôi thích buổi tối cả. Tôi thích buổi tối hả? Ok. Chúng ta cũng nên kết thúc chuyện này đi. Đổ bộ vào buổi tối. Đó, mấy cái chỗ này nè, ngày xưa đập hết rồi nè, vui lắm. Cũng có người đích, người đát. Người đích, người đát. Người đạt, người đích. Nói chung là một cái cốt truyện khá là dark. Chắc có chìa khóa không vậy? Tự nhiên mình thấy có cái chỗ này. Có cái chỗ này ở đây. Đây nè. Mốt có chìa khóa quay lại đây. Nhưng mà để đánh dấu cái đã. Nói chung là những cái cốt truyện đây là đó. Tại vì mình đã nhìn thấy rồi. Mình đã nhìn thấy cái hồi nãy mà hồi hoài niệm giữa cha của Đinh Giáp với lại cha của Đi Giao thì mình thấy là giống như mình nhìn thôi. Đa số các NPC phụ có thoại là như là những cái sự kiện đó Encamonia với lại ở đảo đảo gì ta, nói cho đúng nhưng mà không nhớ, giờ không nhớ nói lại. Ở đảo Watasumi thì có những cái gọi là mà hiểu không, có những cái gọi là nó những câu chuyện chưa bao giờ gọi là tốt đẹp hết. Ji Jong cũng vậy, có thực sự đẹp hay không, và chuyện của bé Ru nữa, còn sống hay không, hay là còn không, hay là như thế nào đó, quay vẫn còn ở đó hay không. Nói chung là nó rất là bí ẩn, nó rất là cái kết nó rất là mở nha, chứ nó không có thực sự đâu. Nhưng mà riêng cái ông trong quân đội Watasumi thì ông ấy đã chết rồi. Nhưng mà ý là đại khái là nó có những cái cốt truyện là đó đến là kinh người. Ủa sao nơi thấp là sao? Ơi đừng nói dưới cái gì hết thể lực rồi đó cha. Sao vậy?
Is this the entrance? We sure didn't run into much trouble on the way here.
Thấy không?
Should be. I don't think they have enough manpower left to post guards and defend their perimeters.
Ok, biết là sẽ phải chơi cái này mà. Đấy, không cần, tôi chỉ cần chơi cái này thôi. Bộ này là cái bộ VIP. Mới suy nghĩ ra được, mới full được bà Naida này, nhưng mà còn thiếu một đồ. Mà chuyện đó chuyện nhỏ, có mốt nâng sâu. Đó, giờ đi thôi. Biết mà mấy cái bí cảnh này đừng có chơi cái tay cầm khó chơi lắm. Chưa có nhu cầu làm quen cái tay cầm.
Wow. Paimon didn't expect it to look like this on the inside.
They should all be holed up in here. Don't know how many people they've got left, though.
Who cares? We'll round up all of them.
Still, we should be careful. Even if they've only got one shot left, it could still take us out.
Yeah, we'll know what they're really capable of once we've landed some hits on them. Deshret's relics may have been a force to be reckoned with before, but their name means nothing now.
Yeah, they don't stand a chance with you here. I'll take the lead. I've been here once before.
Ok. Đúng rồi. Cứ mỗi lần thì chơi bà này cứ nhìn hoài. Nhìn vô. Để coi coi tại sao mạnh. Tăng 20% với hàng HD nè. Ơi, hình như mình C1 rồi. Ôi, từ từ. Gì mà dùng thử chứ. Ủa, một con à. Hình như tôi nâng rồi mà. Ở đây nè, của tôi nè. Đợt 1 rồi. Yeah. C2 thì sao? Khu vực kéo dài thêm. Tấn công tánh địa sôi trào tăng nắm đấm lửa cái địch cho đi ăn năm nguyên tố. Ồ, đã ta. Wow. Vậy nhưng mà có được cái C1 à. Rất là lucky đề đó. Cái này mà bớt làm sao mà cho gọi là có. Ngã xuống đó là chết đúng không? Từ mày. Tất nhiên không ai muốn chết đó đó. Không cho đi nữa kìa. Rương tìm kiếm rương mấy ba. Không ai rảnh đâu mà đi tới đi lui cho nó lâu. Đập đó không được. Ô, cái cây kiếm này hay nha, trụi. Mình vô banh thường vui lắm luôn. Nếu mà cầm chuột với bàn phím mà đánh gì từ từ mày. Cứ đánh đi, mấy đâu không chết được đâu. Mấy đâu không chết được đâu, cứ từ từ. Hơi vô tâm nhưng mà tâm cái đồ vui. Đó, bên kia kìa không?
Illusion shattered!
Không, vừa sát thương, ảo vừa.
Shine down!
Kiss me prettily.
Look alive! Hi!
I see everything.
Thôi mày.
That's close enough. Feeling lucky today.
There is no escape!
You want
Kiss me prettily.
Shine down!
Nói chung là sát thương nhiều lắm. Ủa rồi đâu nữa. Cứ làm combo này thôi.
There is no escape!
Sao gì cũng ăn nữa.
This way, follow me. We're almost there.
Wait, they went charging ahead without checking for any traps.
Hey, you guys okay?
It seems like we just got trapped in here. Don't think we triggered anything else.
Watch out, the enemy's coming from ahead.
Well, now that things have come to this, seems we'll have to fight our way through.
Don't worry about us. We knew something like this could happen. Go and take a look around. There could still be another way through. Let's go! We can't let the boss down!
Let's check if there's another way. The sooner we can make it through to help them, the better.
Let's see. I think I see a way through over there, but it's being blocked by something. Let's try our luck with that mechanism.
Okay, let's go.
Ôi giả điên quá à, nãy thấy cái bí cảnh bên kia ông ơi, cơ quan bên kia rồi diễn nữa bài đặt. Đừng vậy, cơ quan bên kia kiếm đường khác thôi. Game làm lộ liễu quá. Qua mặt không rồi. Chỗ này đập đâu được đúng không? Đây. Ủa từ từ, cái gì đây? Lên, điều chỉnh độ cao màu sắc thế gì? Đổi màu đi, màu vàng, lên. Ôi vô kẹt gì đâu khó trời, đầu phộng đó. Giỡn hoài. Đấm được luôn kìa. Không lẽ không có rương thật thiệt vậy. Chỉ có 2 màu thôi, nhưng mà ý là giải mấy cái này cho biết. Nó lộn cái này, mẹ mày.
Committed to memory.
Illusion shattered!
Rest and rebuild.
Dễ mà đúng không? Sát thương thảo hiện tại vẫn còn rất mạnh. Mà chỉ mong là đừng sửa. Mấy ông đang ra thảo mà đừng có sửa cái rương nè. Rửa làm gì đúng không? Người ta đang thích thảo nè, sửa gì?
Another mechanism like the one before, but this one's being blocked off in the middle.
We just need to adjust it a little.
Mày cứ từ từ thôi. Đây, cái gì nè? Vụ gì? Bạn tôi cứ... Bạn cứ đùa tôi. Đúng là ba cái nhiệm vụ truyền thuyết này quét rất dễ. Dễ hơn cháo, dễ hơn ma thần. Nói chung là nhất ma thần nhi truyền thuyết. Thứ ba mới vô thế giới. Gì cu? Cu chán sống rồi.
Let's get it on!
Họ tranh thủ dùng dia thôi, gọi là thích thú thôi. Mà dù sát thương vật lý thì chả thấy sát thương thường đâu á. Khổ thật. Chắc cho dia mà dia đang xài cái kia kìa. Đi lất thì có đường cùng của sói rồi, bây giờ không biết là cho ai dùng cái đó, mà không dùng cái đó thì hơi ủi. Rồi nó lộn nè.
Shine down! You asked for it!
Luôn nè. Bọc rương đây à, không thấy còn rương nào nữa. Không đồ chứ. Gì đây? Từ từ mày ơi. Lên. Lên nữa được không? Được. Hạ xuống. Cụp cái pha xuống. Đổi màu. Cái gì đây? Đúng rồi. Cụp cái pha xuống. Đổi màu. Được chưa? Đổi màu. Cụp cái pha xuống. Đổi màu ê. Giời cậu đây rồi.
I wasn't expecting anyone to make it through from the other side. But as a desert dweller, I suppose we should be used to our folks defying all expectations.
Don't waste your breath. You have nowhere to run.
Run? Had I wanted to run, I would have fled 1,000 times already. I witnessed the golden age of Deshret's relics. Even if I could leave this place behind, all that awaits me now are endless days of humiliation and ruin. Even now, my brothers and I still believe in one thing. The greatest should never live to remember their fall.
So you want to go out in a blaze of glory?
Let us draw our weapons! We will show them the true power King Deshret bestowed upon his followers. They are but two, while we hold within ourselves the entirety of the relic's glory. Wave 1, charge! Eliminate them!
Rồi mày sai rồi. Mày ẩu rồi, 2 người rồi sao? Tao hỏi mày 2 người rồi sao? Mày sai lắm rồi. Ui mày thấy sức mạnh là vô mày. Nghe mày bị sai xong rồi, sai lắm luôn. Đã thề hứa là mày sai lắm rồi.
We're just getting started.
Shine down!
Luôn rồi đó. Sai lắm rồi đó. Sai thầm lắm rồi đó.
Look alive! Ha! Gloves off!
Sai thầm lắm luôn rồi đó. Đâu bị đó.
You are King Death.
Ở trong heo luôn, bình thường.
Any one of his followers.
There is no escape!
Mày
Buckle up! Hi!
Patience.
Dead!
Brothers! This is where we prove our faith.
Mời ra nói đi. Sao đó?
Just wanna die?
None of us plan to leave this place alive!
Rồi sao? Còn sao?
Golden slumber.
Đếm.
The commander has finally fallen.
But they're still coming at us! This place is like a gladiator's ring. They just keep coming no matter how many we beat!
Yes, keep fighting! There's no need to fear, and no need to back down! This is our last stand!
When the next wave comes, try to draw away their attacks. I'm going to see if I can take out that high platform.
Get out of my way!
Come and face me, Michel! So they've broken through the front as well.
Apologies, Lord Michal. They fight like absolute madmen! No matter how much we throw at them, they just keep coming for more!
So, it would seem like this is the end.
Time to pay for everything you've done, Michel.
You think I would give you that opportunity? I will be buried in the sand alongside all the rest of our fading glory.
Hey, wait!
We were too late.
It's over. There's no more need to fight. But if you're still going to cling on to your so-called mercenary's pride, then I'll give you all a good beating as well.
Hey, dear! I found the mechanism. I'll get you all back up here right away.
Let's go.
Hey, what? Ủa rồi sao? Cái chỗ này có rương có gì không? Từ mày không có ẩu vô mấy cái bí cảnh này không có ẩu. Từ từ. Mấy đường này đi không đường nào. Đấy, chỗ này nhảy lên được á chứ. Ê, này mà có Kazuha được á chứ. Chắc không có gì đâu ha. Mình nghĩ là nó xây dựng lên đại khái vậy thôi chứ. Rồi. Rồi. Má đi một đống máu luôn. Ủa, có cô mi sao xài má sang vậy đó. Cho bà đi. Ông tổ ngành food mà, cứ chơi đi. Chơi luôn, không? Nó quên. Này nữa rồi. Ăn gì ngu vậy?
Hold the line!
Ôi điên quá à. Tôi làm mấy chuyện đùi quá, từ từ đi. Đây nè. Lên cái này được nè. Ôi tôi đang khùng mà, từ từ đi. Ê, đừng hỏi người đi nghĩ gì. Đừng có đùa với người điên. Chắc chắn có gì đây nè, hứa luôn. Ê, từ từ mày. Từ đã. Kìa có cách lên gì kìa, từ từ. Đùa chứ, sẵn tìm Easter egg hay gì luôn. Đừng có đùa. Đó. Cậu ơi, cậu qua mắt được tớ đâu cậu. Bình tĩnh cậu. Hồi nãy mấy cậu đi qua đây đúng không? Tôi tìm kiếm một chút đã. Đâu ai nghĩ mà lên trên đây đúng không? Hứa luôn, không ai nghĩ là phải lên trên đây đâu. Nè, đây là mấy cái cổng nè, chứ không phải ấy đâu. Nhưng mà bên đây qua được, rồi bên kia qua không được. Khó, qua bên kia khó. Thôi, chắc đủ rồi. Đi qua đây thôi. Kìa, cái rương kìa. Rương xịn, rương đại luôn. Đánh mấy này được, mấy rương này nè. Cũng được, cái chung ngon, thơm. Cái gì? Ai ơi? Ai? Đù, ánh sáng quá đỉnh vậy. Lên mà.
Who are you filthy rats? And why are you always pestering us?
You call yourself a member of the infamous Deshret's relics, and you still can't even tell who's made it all the way to your headquarters?
Who knows what intent a bunch of rats may have? We try to catch a couple, and you all just show up on the other side instead. How are we supposed to figure out what you're after? Hey, have you ever heard of a man by the name of Kusela? Why would I know? It's not like I'm in charge or anything.
This is your last chance to talk.
Hey, I said I don't know anything. I'm just an average member here. I'm telling the truth. If you're here to find someone, why don't you look through the records yourselves? Who can remember every name and face with so many people coming in and out every day?
The irony. His life became a light for so many, yet to others, it wasn't even worth remembering. Where's the records room? Answer me!
It's right over there. All the files are in there. You can go through them as much as you want. It's not like any of them still matter anyway.
I mean the old records room.
The old records room? You mean the one that got burned down? Kusela. Ah, yeah, I remember him now. The guy who could hardly walk. Watch your mouth. That's our boss you're talking about. He was definitely faking it. We all let our guard down as soon as we saw him come hobbling in. But in the short time it supposedly took him to take a dump, he'd already gotten away and started a fire in the records room. He couldn't have possibly outrun us if he wasn't a fraud. And after that, Deshret's relics fell into complete disarray.
Stop wasting our time. Every one of us here is perfectly aware of what he had done. Tell me, where is the old records room?
It's just over there. Go see it for yourself if it means that much to you. There's nothing left in there but ashes. No human could ever survive that kind of inferno. Bashar, Tikriti, let's go. We'll leave the others here to guard these guys. Spare them no mercy if they try anything. I've already told you everything I know. Can't you just leave me alone?
Nhìn ta biết là thôi chứ. Chỗ gì sáng sáng nhìn. Đó là đúng không? Sao cung? Ủa không phải, từ từ. Ồ, nó mới cho đi kiểu này xuống hả? Kiểu này xuống là chết. Phòng lưu trữ hả? Cái đền này mà phòng lưu trữ này mà đốt gì đây trời? Tao tưởng cái nhà cái gì chứ tổng cục, cái tổng bộ, tổng cục gì? Nhìn bèo vậy. À bên đây ủa phải. Thì ra là thế này. Trời. Thì ra từ từ là thế này. 14 trên 7 thì ra là hồi nãy mấy đại ca đi qua đường này, lời này nằm đây luôn, nằm đó với luôn. Thì ra từ từ là thế này. 24 trên 7 nghĩ nó đẹp. Nghĩ nó đẹp. Thì ra nó là thế này.
So, this was his final destination. How did he do it? Getting past all the guards with a limp and sneaking in here to start a fire? If he was nimble enough to do that, then he must have been able to get out of here after starting the fire, right?
THIA.
I'm sorry. I know it's just wishful thinking. Let's look around. Maybe we can find something that's been left behind.
Is this a cane? It must be the one that Dia's father used.
Kusela.
Thanks for everything, boss.
We're fortunate to somehow find that cane after that fire.
Let's split up and look around some more. What if something else has been left behind?
But what else could survive a fire like that?
Huh? Thought so.
Wait! Isn't that the toy sword you played with as a child?
The dragon is no more, for Princess Dia has slain it. Its head now hangs above the city gates. Her bravery has brought eternal peace and prosperity to us all. Dia, come on. This is the most important line.
You can do it.
But Dia, you defeated the dragon. Everyone's waiting for your speech. Still too shy, huh? All right, I'll do it. I hereby proclaim our victory. Evil shall plague us no more.
I hereby proclaim our victory. Evil shall plague us no more, Dad. What's this?
Don't you remember? You asked Paimon what she would do if she were to wake up tomorrow with loads of money. And Paimon said that she would get boatloads of tasty snacks. You looked super confused at the time, but said it was an adorable thing to say. These opportunities don't come by often. So today, Paimon's gonna treat you to a special crash course on Paimon's life philosophy. Hey, come on! Paimon's not that stingy. Anyway, the point is that you should eat to your heart's content. You'll feel better for sure once you've gotten something in your tummy. Dunyarzad will also be here shortly. She's already heard that we're back.
Aw, thanks, you two. Honestly, this is very unlike me. I just had a lot on my mind on our way back, so I didn't know what to say. My chest was filled with all kinds of intense emotions. They just shook me even more than all the feelings we've shared during our previous adventures. But when everything came to an end, those emotions also vanished without a trace, and I was left feeling more empty than ever before. It was as if I'd lost the thing that was most important to me. Yeah, you're right. To many mercenaries, Mora is the most important thing in the world. But perhaps to us, it's the most worthless thing of all. Idrisi and the others all used to say that they would quit if there was no Mora to be had. But when it came to avenging my father, there was no Mora to be made anywhere. My reality shattered when I found out that the father who always told me hero stories was in fact a bad guy. But look at me now. Am I any different? Despite all my promises about never forgiving him and never trying to understand him, I still went to such lengths to find out the truth, and nearly even shed tears for his sake. We're hypocrites, all of us. Yeah, you're right. It's just a pity that we often only recognize our true feelings after it's already too late.
You're back! Are all of you alright?
Ah, there she is.
Yeah. Many people from the Corps of 30 came over, and I just wrapped up everything with my dad. All I can do now is wait for their verdict. Huh? Dia, you're looking quite down again.
Paimon will explain. A lot happened while we were gone.
I'm sorry. I really should have controlled my emotions better. I just...
It's all right, my lady. You were hurt by all of this as well. Truth be told, I'm starting to feel a little guilty watching you cry like this.
But Dia, now your pain must be even worse. You shouldn't need to comfort me.
Hey, don't worry about me. If anything, this whole thing has finally shown me the difference between illusion and reality. My father probably thought that people could settle into new lives as long as they moved to a new environment. That thought has even crossed my mind a few times. It's like saying, what's wrong with adapting to a new life? However, there was always something deep within my mind that refused to accept it. This impulse brought me great turmoil, and even made me feel ashamed for turning my back on your father's kindness. But now that I consider it again, it all makes sense. The desert sands are a part of who I am, and I will never be able to lead a peaceful existence.
I understand how you feel.
That doesn't mean I won't be making any changes to my life, though. As an example, I'm now thinking about taking on some small odd jobs. It's just like Idrisi said. I also want to catch up to my father and become a character in his play. Even if the ending of the story may be childish and ridiculous, it won't really matter.
Isn't that neat, though? Oh, you'll be a whole new kind of mercenary, one that's not out for Mora. Why don't we go for a change of scenery once we finish eating? What about stopping by the Grand Bazaar again?
Right. You said you wanted to get a rug for your family.
We'll come along too.
I can't thank you enough for taking care of me this entire time.
Thì phải nói làm sao nhỉ? Không bao giờ mà cốt truyện truyền thuyết mang cho chúng ta một cảm giác vui vẻ hoặc là hạnh phúc. Tất nhiên giống như là có cái cảm giác giống như là phải là tiêu cực, nhưng mà là có một cái cảm giác là tối nay sẽ mất ngủ, như một buổi tối đi chill cái tựa game này một mình. Như những người mà người ta không có làm về video thì họ sẽ có dễ hơn. Như mình nói ra như vậy nè thì nó sẽ không có ghim gì trong đầu nhiều, nhưng mà đại khái là khi mà gọi là chill, tự cảm thấy tự chill một mình thì sẽ nhìn nhận ra được nhiều vấn đề nằm ở đó.
Oh, this rug here is quite something. The craftsmanship is exquisite, and the fabric is also of high quality.
Ah, here you are. Finally, I found you.
Hey, are Aren't you that mercenary who bit his tongue? You can still talk? Wait, are you here to take revenge on us?
What are you talking about? Do I look like I could take you all to a fight? I just came here to give you something. I'll be on my way to give myself up to the Corps after this. Once I woke up, I hurried to the Khan al-Ahmar's camp, hoping to alert them to your presence. But when I got there, I found no one except the members who were still too injured to move.
Ah, so you probably got there after us.
Yeah, they told me that they had exacted their revenge, and everyone had turned themselves in to the authorities. Even that last camp was not going to last for much longer. I had joined the cause to repay an old favor from Kusela. Now that everyone's already turned themselves in, I might as well do the same. One of the injured members gave this box to me, and told me that it contained some of the old man's last possessions. Everything left in the camp will get confiscated, so I figured I should get this to you before the Corps could get their hands on it.
Thank you.
No worries. We are all just living our own truths. There's no need to comment or judge anyone for it.
So this box contains everything that Dia's father left behind. Huh. It feels lighter than expected.
Well, back in the day, the first thing he did with any Mora was spend it on things like drinks and meat. But let's see what's inside. What's this? It's just a bunch of junk. It kinda stinks.
Perhaps it's just been left unopened for too long.
A handwritten copy of a storybook. The paper's already yellowed, and it looks like it's about to fall apart. It was against the Academia's rules to possess books for personal use. If he was going to break that rule, he could have at least copied something useful.
That probably means this was really important to him.
And here are a few bags of children's snacks. The packaging's completely deteriorated. Maybe that's where the smell was coming from.
Did he get those for you?
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Even when I was a child, I was never a fan of these kinds of snacks. He'd always say that he got them for me, but in the end, he always ate more than I ever did. Who even leaves snacks in a box like this anyway? Isn't that just common sense? Forget it. Let me see what else is in here. A razor, some buttons, some round iron tiles, a wooden toy puppet, a wool scarf, which from the looks of it probably belonged to a woman, and a hair clip? Why are these things here?
I'm suddenly feeling a little scared.
I'm sorry, my lady, but this is just the kind of man he was. He probably saw this box as some kind of personal trash heap and dumped any and everything in there. 2 empty liquor bottles. Tell me, you guys, are these the kinds of things that a normal person would leave behind?
Huh? There's something in the bottle!
Oh, you're right. All right, I got it out. It seems to be a piece of paper with some writing on it. The bottom part's all damaged from moisture, though. Let's hope the writing didn't smudge. I was suddenly seized with an urge to write a letter after finishing this bottle. I just folded it up and left it in the bottle, though. If I end up forgetting about it, it won't really matter. To Dia. It's a letter for me? It's all right. I'll just read it out. If he went to the trouble of writing a letter, there must have been some important things that he wanted to say. Or at least record down.
My condition's becoming worse and worse. Can't even walk without a cane anymore, much less go out and have fun. Guess I don't have many days left. If you're reading this letter, then I suppose I'm already long gone. You were adorable as a baby. Everyone loved you. And regardless of whether you were crying or laughing, everyone enjoyed having you in the group. But once you grew a bit older, you were no longer nearly as happy or cute. It's probably Idrisi's fault. He was never up to any good.
Can you believe this guy? he can point the finger at himself.
Anyway, back to the point. To summarize, I'm writing this so you would know not to feel sad for me, even if you end up finding out the truth. The reason being that I was never your father to begin with.
Wait, what?
Surely, he must be joking, right?
I don't know.
I was quite formidable when I was young, and 100 times cooler than some so-called flame main. Really felt like the whole world was under my feet. With just a teeny tiny bit of effort, I felt I could rule over the entire desert. But as fate would have it, I went out into the desert for a drink one day and discovered a baby in the sands. It was you. You were just lying there, small and helpless. You were so tiny that if the wind blew for just a little while longer, you would have been buried forever. But your cries were so loud they made my head hurt. Now that I think of it, you really were a bundle of energy.
Sounds like he's serious.
I told Idrisi and the others that I had slipped up with a woman while out and about. None of them even doubted me. I'm sorry that I had to lie to them for so long, but I really had no other choice. I was their most esteemed leader, after all. It's not like I could just tell them that I suddenly wanted to play at being a father. At this rate, I'll puke up all the liquor I just drank from this bottle. Anyway, Dia, you possess the kind of freedom and kindness that we could only dream of. As far as how you should live your life, that'll be up to you to decide.
That's the end of the letter. In the end, he was still thinking of me as a little child. I suppose, or I would have suffocated under the sand a long time ago.
He was a good father to you. The fact that he wasn't a blood relative doesn't change that.
Yeah, it's just a pity that we had to learn the truth of everything like this.
Do you already have some ideas about the decision that he wanted you to make?
I do. If he first found me alone in the sands, then I want to try my hand at finding the person who abandoned me. I just have one wish. To tell them a story. That there once existed a childish and foolish jerk with a heart of gold. And that only under his care was I able to grow and mature into the person I am today.
If you end up finding any leads, can you share them with us? We go on adventures all the time. Maybe we'll be able to find some information for you.
Sure, I appreciate it. I wasn't expecting you to be so enthusiastic.
I'll help too.
Thank you. All of you. Thank you so much. My life has certainly had its twists and turns, but I've always considered myself lucky. Because no matter where I've gone, I've always been surrounded by incredible kindness.
Oh, shit. Biết nói sao giờ ta? Wow. Cứ sau mỗi lần một cái cốt truyện ma thần và cốt truyện truyền thuyết nó trôi qua thì nó có nhiều cái xúc cảm, như trong lòng nó có nhiều xúc cảm lắm. Thì wow. Wow, hay đó chứ. Wow, nếu mà được vote,
What they say is true. You have to see the world for yourself.
đa số mà bình chọn cái cốt truyện ma thần với cốt truyện truyền thuyết á, mình luôn luôn đánh giá là vô cùng hài lòng, và chỉ mong là nó sẽ luôn vô cùng hài lòng giống như vậy, chứ không phải là cái dạng như chúng ta nói là thôi người ta vô cùng hài lòng rồi, thôi mình cứ làm giống vậy sương sương, mọi thứ phải càng phát triển hơn. Bởi vì tôi là người sử dụng mà, đúng là tôi không nạp tiền nhưng mà tôi theo dõi nè, chơi nè, rồi coi như là một phần góp phần cho tựa game chứ, đúng không? Thì phải có một cái gì đó phát triển hơn nữa. Nó khá đắt và cũng khá là wow. Nói chung thì mình như cốt truyện của anh Hải thì cũng không có gì để nói, nhưng mà cốt truyện này thì khá là xúc cảm. Nó không xúc động, nó cũng không có phải là khóc hay là gì, hay là nó cũng không phải là buồn. Giống như trong cái buồn nó có cái vui, mà trong cái vui nó cũng có một chút buồn. Nhưng mà đại khái thì cũng gọi là có, đại khái cũng là thôi. Anyway, thì nếu mà các bạn thích cái cốt truyện ma thần đi ra cũng như video này thì mong các bạn tiếp tục ủng hộ video của mình, cách là nhấn đăng ký theo dõi, cũng như là ủng hộ livestream, ủng hộ video của mình. Ngoài ra các bạn có thể góp ý cho video của mình và cải thiện kênh thông qua bình luận ở bên dưới, để mình có thể phát triển kênh hơn và khắc phục những cái vấn đề của kênh, ví dụ như vấn đề vang trong vấn đề mà nghe hội thoại cũng như là xem cốt truyện thì nó có vấn đề vang của 2 video trước. Thì các bạn tiếp tục ủng hộ mình để mình có thể khắc phục những cái lỗi sau này. Thì ok thôi, thì mọi người chúc mọi người có một buổi tối vui vẻ.